Do you ever feel like your mind is a web browser with 100 tabs open? Notifications are buzzing, your to-do list is screaming, and focusing on just one thing feels impossible. We live in an age of constant distraction, a world that pulls our attention in a million different directions. But what if there was a way to reclaim our focus, to find stillness in the chaos? Deep within Japanese culture lies a simple yet profound concept that offers a solution. It's called Ichigyo Zammai. The term Ichigyo Zammai translates to concentration on a single act. It's a principle rooted in Zen Buddhism, particularly in the teachings of the 13th century Master Dogen. At its core, it's about fully immersing yourself in the one thing you are doing, right here, right now. It's not about multitasking or rushing to get things done. It's about single-tasking with your entire being. Imagine a traditional Japanese tea ceremony. Every movement is deliberate. Every action is filled with purpose. The host isn't thinking about their next appointment or what's for dinner. They are completely present, focused solely on the act of preparing and serving tea. This is Ichigyo Zammai in practice. In our modern world, we've been sold a myth, the myth of multitasking. We believe that juggling emails, phone calls, and projects simultaneously makes us more productive. But neuroscience tells a different story. Our brains aren't built to multitask effectively. When we think we're multitasking, we're actually just rapidly switching between tasks. This context switching is mentally exhausting. It drains our cognitive resources, increases stress, and leads to more errors. Focusing on one act at a time flips this script. By dedicating our full attention to a single task, we allow our brains to enter a state of deep focus, often called flow. In this state, distractions fade away, time seems to warp, and our performance and creativity soar. We're not just working harder, we're working smarter, achieving more with less mental strain. The result is not just higher productivity, but a profound sense of calm and mental clarity. So, how does this ancient wisdom apply to our hectic modern lives? Let's look at some real-life examples. Think about your morning coffee. Instead of scrolling through your phone while you drink it, try practicing Ichigyo. Focus completely on the experience. Notice the warmth of the mug, the rich aroma, the complex flavors. Feel the liquid as you swallow. By doing this, a mundane routine becomes a moment of mindfulness, a small island of peace in your day. Apply this to your work. When you sit down to write a report, close all other tabs, turn off your notifications. For a set period, dedicate your entire focus to writing. You might be amazed at how quickly you progress when you're not constantly being pulled away. The same goes for conversations. When you're talking with a friend or colleague, truly listen. Put your phone away. Give them your full, undivided attention. You'll build stronger connections and find the interaction far more rewarding. Ichigyo Zammai isn't about adding another complicated system to your life. It's about simplifying. It's about finding the sacred in the ordinary, whether you're washing dishes, walking in the park, or reading a book to your child. Each act, when done with full concentration, becomes an opportunity for focus and fulfillment. Ready to bring Ichigyo Zammai into your own life? Here's a practical guide. First, start small. Don't try to change everything at once. Pick one activity each day to practice with. Maybe it's your morning shower. Instead of letting your mind race with the day's worries, focus on the sensation of the water, the scent of the soap. Second, create a focused environment. Before you begin a task, take a minute to eliminate potential distractions. Put your phone in another room. Clear your desk of clutter. A clean space often leads to a clear mind. Third, use time-blocking techniques. The Pomodoro technique, for example, is a modern form of Ichigyo Zammai. Work with intense focus for 25 minutes, then take a short 5-minute break. This rhythm trains your brain to concentrate in short, manageable bursts. Fourth, practice single-tasking deliberately. When you're eating, just eat. When you're walking, just walk. Resist the urge to layer activities. At first, your mind will wander. That's completely normal. The practice isn't about achieving a perfectly empty mind. It's about gently bringing your attention back, again and again, to the task at hand. Each time you bring your focus back, you are strengthening your mental muscle of concentration. There's a story about a famous swordsmith in Japan. People would travel from all over the country to watch him work, marveling at the quality of his blades. When asked for his secret, he didn't speak of rare metals or secret forging techniques. He simply said, "When I am hammering the steel, I think only of hammering the steel. When I am quenching the blade, I think only of quenching the blade." He lived a life of Ichigyo Zammai. His singular focus was infused into his craft, making his swords legendary. This story reminds us that true mastery, in any field, comes not from doing many things at once, but from doing one thing with complete and utter devotion. It's a powerful lesson that applies just as much to coding software or creating art as it does to forging a sword. The practice of Ichigyo Zammai is an invitation. An invitation to step away from the relentless noise of the modern world and reconnect with the present moment. It teaches us that the power to eliminate distractions doesn't come from an app or a gadget. It comes from within. By embracing the discipline of one act at a time, we can cultivate a deeper sense of focus, peace, and purpose in everything we do. It's a journey back to a simpler, more intentional way of being, where each moment is given the full weight of our attention. It's about doing less, but doing it better, with more clarity and more presence. In a world that constantly asks for more, the most radical act can be to focus on just one thing. This single-minded concentration allows for a richer, more meaningful engagement with life itself. And when you fully immerse yourself in that one action, you're not just improving your focus, you're fundamentally rewiring your brain. Let's look closer at what's happening neurologically. Our brains are not designed for multitasking. When we think we're doing several things at once, like answering an email while listening to a meeting, our brain is actually switching rapidly between tasks. This process, known as context switching, is incredibly inefficient. It consumes a significant amount of cognitive energy and increases the production of the stress hormone, cortisol. Ichigyo Zammai acts as an antidote to this chaotic switching. By committing to a single task, you allow your prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive control center, to engage fully. This sustained attention strengthens neural pathways associated with focus. Think of it like building a muscle. The more you practice single-tasking, the stronger your brain's ability to resist distractions becomes. You're essentially training your brain to enter a state of flow, where you're so absorbed in an activity that everything else fades away. This isn't just about feeling good, it's about optimal neurological performance. The brain releases dopamine, a neurotransmitter linked to pleasure and motivation, reinforcing the positive experience of deep work. So, how do we cultivate this state more intentionally? Let's move beyond the basics and explore some advanced practices. The first is what I call mindful isolation. This isn't just about finding a quiet room, it's about mentally and physically quarantining your task. For example, if you're writing a report, don't just close your other browser tabs. Close all applications that aren't essential for that specific task. If possible, use a different device or a dedicated user profile just for deep work. This creates a powerful psychological boundary. You're telling your brain, in this space, we only do this one thing. For a student studying for an exam, this might mean having a specific notebook and pen used only for that subject in a designated corner of their room. The physical act of opening that notebook signals the start of a focused session. Next, let's talk about environmental optimization. Your surroundings send constant signals to your brain. A cluttered desk sends signals of unfinished business, creating a low-level hum of anxiety that competes for your attention. Applying Ichigyo Zammai here means curating an environment that reflects singular focus. This is deeply rooted in Japanese aesthetics, like the principle of Ma, which values negative space or emptiness. A clean, minimalist workspace isn't just about looking neat. It's about removing visual noise so your mind has more space to think. Before you begin a task, take 2 minutes to clear your physical and digital desktops. Put away anything unrelated. This simple ritual acts as a primer for your brain, preparing it for the single task ahead. It's a declaration of intent. This leads us to the crucial practice of mental decluttering. Our biggest distractions often come from within the endless loop of worries, to-do lists, and random thoughts. Ichigyo Zammai teaches us to acknowledge these thoughts without getting entangled. A powerful micro-technique is the thought parking lot. Keep a piece of paper or a simple text file next to you. When an unrelated thought pops into your head, like, I need to buy milk, or did I reply to that text? Don't fight it. Simply write it down in your parking lot and immediately return to your primary task. This act of externalizing the thought assures your brain that it won't be forgotten, freeing up mental bandwidth to refocus. You're not suppressing the thought, you're scheduling it for later. Let's see how this works in a creative scenario. Imagine you're a musician, composing a piece of music. Distractions are everywhere. The notification on your phone, the desire to check social media, the sudden urge to clean your studio. Applying Ichigyo Zammai means committing to, say, 25 minutes of pure composition. Phone is in another room. All other software is closed. Your only tools are your instrument and your notation software. When the inevitable, "what if I tried a different chord progression on that other song?" thought arises, you jot it down on your notepad and immediately return to the current measure. You are fully present with the notes in front of you, the feel of the keys or strings, the sound filling the room. It is in this complete absorption that creative breakthroughs happen. The world shrinks to just you and your creation. This philosophy is beautifully captured in the traditional Japanese tea ceremony, or chinoyu. Every single element of the ceremony is deliberate and focused. The host concentrates solely on each movement, whisking the matcha, pouring the water, presenting the bowl. The guest focuses entirely on receiving, observing the art on the bowl, savoring the taste. There is no multitasking, no idle chatter about unrelated topics. It is a shared practice of Ichigyo Zammai, where each participant is fully present in a single, unfolding experience. The goal is not just to drink tea, but to achieve a state of harmony and tranquility through single-minded action. We can bring this same ceremonial intention to our daily work. So, how do you build your own focused rituals? Start small. The key is consistency, not duration. Choose one important task you do every day. It could be the first hour of your workday, your morning study session, or your evening reading. Dedicate that block of time to practicing Ichigyo Zammai. Create a simple pre-task ritual. It could be brewing a specific type of tea, stretching for 60 seconds, or simply taking 3 deep breaths. This ritual will become a Pavlovian trigger for your brain, signaling that it's time to enter a state of deep focus. During this block, be ruthless with distractions. Use the thought parking lot. Use mindful isolation. After the session, have a post-task ritual, something to mark the end, like a short walk. This structure helps contain the intense focus and allows your brain to transition cleanly. As you integrate these practices, you'll notice a shift. The feeling of being overwhelmed by a flood of information will begin to subside. You'll find that you can accomplish more in shorter, more intense bursts of work than you ever could by juggling multiple things at once. This isn't just a productivity hack. It's a path to a calmer, more deliberate way of living. You start to appreciate the texture of a single moment, whether you're writing code, chopping vegetables, or listening to a friend. You are reclaiming your attention from a world designed to steal it. There's an old Japanese proverb, "Isagaba mower," which means if you are in a hurry, go the long way around. It seems counterintuitive, but it embodies the spirit of Ichigyo Zammai. Rushing and multitasking create errors and mental friction, forcing you to go back and fix things. By taking the time to focus on one thing at a time, moving deliberately and mindfully, you actually reach your destination more efficiently and with a greater sense of peace. This ancient wisdom reminds us that the most direct path to accomplishment is often the one that looks the slowest. It's about honoring the process itself. The digital world presents our greatest challenge. Our devices are engineered for distraction. But we can apply Ichigyo Zammai here to, instead of letting your phone dictate your attention, you dictate the terms. Schedule specific times to check emails and social media rather than letting notifications pull you away from your focus. Treat these activities as single tasks themselves. When it's time for email, only do email. When you're scrolling through your feed, do it intentionally for a set period, then stop. Turn your phone into a tool you use, not a master you serve. Use grayscale mode to make it less appealing. Curate your home screen to show only essential apps. Each of these small changes is an act of defiance against the attention economy. By mastering the art of single-tasking, you are not just becoming more productive. You are cultivating a deeper relationship with your own mind. You learn to direct your most valuable resource, your attention. This practice extends beyond work and into every corner of your life. When you are fully present with the people you love, you listen more deeply. When you are eating, you taste your food more fully. Life itself becomes richer and more vibrant, moment by moment. The goal is to live in a state of now, fully engaged with the single activity that is your life at this very second. This is the essence of Ichigyo Zammai. It is a simple concept, but its transformative power lies in its consistent application, turning the mundane into the meaningful. This journey of reclaiming your focus begins not with grand gestures, but with the next small thing you choose to do. It's a continuous practice, a daily recommitment to being present. With each task you perform with singular focus, you are casting a vote for a more intentional life. The resistance you feel at first is natural. Your brain has been trained for distraction. But with persistence, the path of single-minded concentration becomes easier and more rewarding. The initial effort gives way to a state of effortless flow, where work feels less like a struggle and more like a form of play. Ultimately, this practice is about discovering the profound satisfaction that comes from doing one thing well. It's about finding the quiet center in the midst of chaos. And as you strengthen this mental muscle, you'll find that its benefits ripple outward. And so, this consistent practice of Ichigyo Zammai begins to reshape not just your productivity, but your entire inner world. Think of it as mental strength training. Each time you gently guide your wandering mind back to the task at hand, you're completing a repetition. Over weeks, months, and years, this builds a formidable muscle of discipline. This isn't the rigid, forceful discipline we often dread, but a calm, self-possessed strength. It's the ability to choose where your attention goes, rather than being pulled in 100 different directions by external triggers or internal whims. The long-term benefit is a profound sense of agency over your own mind. This mental fortitude translates directly into emotional stability. When you can hold your focus on a single point, you become less susceptible to the emotional storms stirred up by trivial annoyances, anxieties about the future, or regrets about the past. Your emotional landscape becomes less of a choppy sea and more of a deep, calm lake. You observe feelings as they arise, acknowledge them without judgment, and then return your focus to your chosen task. This practice cultivates a state of non-reactivity, a quiet confidence that you can handle whatever comes your way without being thrown off balance. The result is a pervasive inner peace, a feeling of being centered and grounded, no matter the chaos swirling around you. And with this peace comes clarity. When the mental chatter subsides, you can hear your own thoughts more clearly. Decisions become easier. Priorities become self-evident. You start to understand what truly matters to you, distinguishing the essential from the trivial. This clarity isn't just for big life decisions. It permeates your daily existence. You see the path forward in your projects. You understand the core of a problem more quickly, and your communication becomes more direct and meaningful. This long-term transformation is where the true power of Ichigyo Zammai lies. It's not just about getting more done. It's about becoming a more deliberate, peaceful, and effective human being. To integrate this more deeply into your life, you can adopt a few advanced strategies. The first is creating what are often called deep work blocks. This isn't just about setting aside time, it's about consecrating it. For a set period, say 90 minutes, you are completely unreachable. Devices are off, notifications are silenced, and your environment is prepared for total immersion. This dedicated time block becomes a sacred space for single tasking. You're not just avoiding distractions, you're creating an environment where they simply cannot exist. Over time, your brain learns to associate this block with a state of intense, uninterrupted flow, making it easier and easier to drop into that state on command. Another powerful strategy is ritualizing your focus sessions. Before you begin a task, take a few moments to perform a simple ritual. It could be anything: taking 3 deep breaths, tidying the surface of your desk, stretching your arms, or even saying a short personal mantra like, "For this time, only this task." This ritual acts as a psychological trigger, signaling to your brain that it's time to transition from a state of scattered attention to one of singular focus. It's like the bow of a martial artist. Before a practice session, a gesture of respect for the activity you are about to undertake. It elevates the task from a mere chore to a mindful practice, making the process itself more meaningful and enjoyable. And then there's the art of mindful task transitions. In our fast-paced lives, we often jump from one activity to the next, with no pause in between. We finish an email and immediately open a spreadsheet, our minds still lingering on the words we just wrote. Ichigyo Zammai teaches us to create intentional space between tasks. After completing one thing, pause, take a moment, stand up, look out the window, take a sip of water, consciously close the mental file on the task you just finished before opening the next one. This small buffer prevents mental residue from bleeding over and contaminating your focus on the new activity. It allows you to approach each task with a fresh, clear mind, fully present and ready to engage. This is not about being slower. It's about being more deliberate, which ultimately leads to higher quality work and less mental fatigue. There's a story told of Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary 17th century swordsman and author of the Book of Five Rings. Musashi was not only an undefeated duelist, but also a master artist, sculptor, and calligrapher. His genius in so many fields was not due to multitasking, but to the opposite, an absolute, all-consuming focus on one thing at a time. When he held a sword, he was only the sword. The world, his thoughts, his fears all, dissolved into the single-minded pursuit of the perfect cut. When he held a brush, he was only the ink, the paper, the stroke. His entire being was poured into that single act. His life exemplified Ichigyo Zammai. He wrote, "When you have attained the way of strategy, you will be able to see the way in all things." For Musashi, the way was this path of total concentration. By mastering it in one domain, the sword, he could apply that same unwavering focus to calligraphy, to sculpture, to life itself. His story teaches us that single tasking is not a limitation. It is the key that unlocks mastery. It's the profound understanding that by giving your all to the one thing in front of you, you are, in fact, connecting with everything. This principle of devoted focus can be seen throughout Japanese arts and traditions. From the tea master preparing a ceremony to the archer in Kudo, the way of the bow. In Kudo, the goal is not merely to hit the target. The goal is to achieve a state of mushan, or no mind, where the archer, bow, arrow, and target become one. The shot happens naturally, without conscious effort, as a result of perfect form and a mind free from distraction. The physical act of hitting the target is simply a byproduct of this inner state of unity and focus. This is Ichigyo Zammai in motion. The archer isn't thinking about hitting the bullseye, about the last arrow, or about the next one. They are completely absorbed in the process, the posture, the breath, the raising of the bow, the drawing of the string. Each step is a world unto itself, given full and complete attention. This is the transformation that awaits. Your work becomes a form of meditation. Your daily chores become opportunities for mindfulness. The dichotomy between work and life, stress and peace, begins to dissolve. Life ceases to be a frantic race, to check off items on a list, and becomes a sequence of moments, each one to be fully inhabited. You learn to find richness in the mundane, joy in the process, and a deep, unshakable peace in the simple act of doing one thing at a time. Through this practice, you are not just managing your attention, you are crafting a more deliberate and meaningful existence. By dedicating yourself fully to the present action, you discover that the present is the only place where life truly unfolds.